My name is Nathan Pierce. I'm 38 years old, a senior accountant at Wilson & Associates, and until 3 months ago, I was the kind of man who believed in keeping promises. The kind who thought marriage vows actually meant something. The kind who trusted completely, loved unconditionally, and never questioned the woman sleeping beside me every night. I was also the kind of fool who thought he knew his wife. Lauren and I met 7 years ago at a coffee shop in downtown Portland. I was reading financial reports, she was sketching in a notebook, and Eclipse Theory was playing over the speakers. When Midnight Run came on, we both started humming along at the exact same time. We looked up, caught each other's eyes, and started laughing. "You know Eclipse Theory?" she asked, closing her sketchbook. "Know them? I've been to every Portland show for the last 5 years," I replied. Her face lit up like Christmas morning. "Me too. Well, almost every show. I missed the one last spring because of work," she said. That was our beginning. Not love at first sight, but love at first song. We talked for 3 hours about music, about Jackson Reed's guitar solos, about how Eclipse Theory's lyrics captured something raw and honest that most bands couldn't touch. When she agreed to come with me to their next concert, I knew I was falling for her. Our entire relationship was built on shared experiences. Concert after concert, late nights talking about lyrics and melodies, road trips to catch Eclipse Theory in Seattle and San Francisco. She moved in with me after 8 months. We got married 2 years later in a small ceremony with Horizon Line playing as she walked down the aisle. Our honeymoon was in Nashville. Music City, she called it. We spent 5 days hitting every venue, every record store, every place where music lived and breathed. On our last night, we caught Eclipse Theory at the Ryman Auditorium. Lauren cried during Forever Young Tonight. I held her hand and thought about how lucky I was to find someone who understood that music wasn't just entertainment. It was religion. Over 7 years of marriage, we attended 14 Eclipse Theory shows together. Every tour, every special performance, every time they came within driving distance, it was our thing, our tradition, the foundation of who we were as a couple. Lauren stopped working 3 years into our marriage. "I want to focus on building our home," she said, "making us a real family." I supported her without hesitation. I was pulling in $82,000 a year at the firm, enough for both of us to live comfortably. She filled her days with yoga classes, book clubs, shopping trips with her friends. I worked long hours, sometimes staying late to handle difficult clients or navigate complex audits, but I never minded. I was providing. I was building something stable for both of us. We were happy, or at least, I thought we were happy. Then came the announcement that changed everything. Eclipse Theory's Midnight Horizon Tour. 2 nights at the Paramount Theater in Portland. When Lauren saw the dates, she was ecstatic. She immediately started planning what to wear, talking about how close our seats would be, wondering if they'd play any new songs. I checked my calendar and felt my stomach drop. Quarterly audit. The week from hell that happens 4 times a year at Wilson & Associates. 16-hour days, mountains of paperwork, and absolutely no flexibility. The Paramount shows were Thursday and Friday night. I'd be buried in spreadsheets both evenings, probably not leaving the office until midnight. "Both nights?" Lauren's voice went cold when I told her. "Nathan, we've never missed an Eclipse Theory show." "I know, baby. I'm sorry. The timing is just terrible," I answered. "Can't you switch with someone? Take a day off?" she pressed. I explained about the audit, about the deadlines, about how Wilson had 3 major clients depending on our team to get their numbers right. She listened, but I could see something changing in her eyes. Something I couldn't name then. Looking back now, I can see it clearly. It was opportunity. "Why don't you take Megan?" I suggested. "She loves Eclipse Theory almost as much as we do." Megan was Lauren's childhood best friend, her maid of honor, the person who knew Lauren better than anyone except me. They'd grown up together, stayed close through college, and maintained their friendship even when life pulled them in different directions. "Megan?" Lauren considered this for a moment. "Yeah, actually, that could be fun." Girls' night out, she agreed. But something had shifted. The excitement in her voice was different now. Sharper, more secretive. But I was so relieved to have found a solution that I didn't think too hard about it. Friday night, I was at the office until almost 11, buried in audit documentation and compliance reports. Around 9:30, I took a break and texted Lauren, "Have fun tonight. Tell the band I said hi. Love you." She replied immediately, "Will do. Love you too. Don't work too hard." I meant every word of that text. She didn't mean a single word of her reply. I had no idea that as I typed those words, Lauren was already at the concert, already moving through the crowd towards something that would destroy our marriage forever. I had no idea that this was the last normal moment we would ever share. I trusted completely. I suspected nothing. I was working late, providing for our future, while my wife was choosing to obliterate it. I didn't learn what happened that night until the next morning. But I need you to understand exactly what went down while I was buried in spreadsheets, trusting my wife completely. What I'm about to tell you comes from Megan, the only person who witnessed Lauren's betrayal firsthand, the only person brave enough to tell me the truth. Megan picked Lauren up at 7 on Friday night. They'd planned to grab dinner before the show, maybe a drink or two to get in the mood. Lauren was electric with excitement, talking non-stop about which songs Eclipse Theory might play, whether Jackson Reed would do his signature guitar solo during Burning Bridges. They had excellent seats, front row, center stage, the kind of spots that cost a fortune but were worth every penny when your favorite band was performing. Lauren sang along to every word, her voice carrying over the crowd, her whole body moving to the rhythm. Megan told me later that she'd never seen Lauren so alive, so completely in her element. After the show, as they were gathering their things and preparing to leave, Lauren pulled out 2 VIP passes. "Where did you get those?" Megan asked. "Bought them online," Lauren said casually. "Thought it might be fun to meet the band." This was news to Megan. Lauren had never mentioned VIP passes, but she figured Lauren wanted to surprise her, maybe make up for me not being there. So they made their way backstage to the meet and greet area. The backstage lounge was crowded with other VIP ticket holders, but it didn't take long for Jackson Reed to notice Lauren. He was still in his stage clothes, black jeans, a vintage Eclipse Theory t-shirt, his signature leather jacket. His dark hair was messy from performing, and he had that post-show energy that made him magnetic. He zeroed in on Lauren immediately. "Hey," he said, appearing beside her with a beer in his hand. "You were singing along to everything tonight. I could hear you from the stage." Lauren's face flushed. "Really? I didn't think you could hear individual voices," she replied. "Trust me, I could hear you." "What's your name?" he asked. "Lauren," she answered. "Beautiful name." "I'm Jackson, obviously," he said with a smile. Megan told me later that she immediately felt uncomfortable, not because he was being inappropriate, but because of how Lauren was responding, like a schoolgirl meeting her crush. "Who'd you come with tonight?" Jackson asked, glancing at Megan. "This is my best friend Megan," Lauren said. "My husband couldn't make it. Work stuff." Jackson's smile didn't falter when she mentioned me. If anything, it got wider. "His loss," he replied. More time for us to talk. They talked for over an hour, Jackson asking Lauren about her favorite songs, her favorite albums, how long she'd been a fan. Lauren hanging on his every word, laughing at everything he said, touching his arm when she wanted to emphasize a point. Megan felt like a third wheel, but she stayed close, some instinct telling her that something wasn't right. Around midnight, as the meet and greet was winding down, Jackson leaned in close to Lauren. "Hey, a few of us are hanging out in the green room for drinks. Want to join us?" he offered. Lauren's eyes lit up. "Really?" "Yes, absolutely," she answered immediately. She turned to Megan. "Is that okay? Can you wait for me? It'll probably just be like 30 minutes, she asked. Every instinct Megan had screamed that this was wrong. Lauren was married. She was my wife. But Megan also knew that if she objected, Lauren would probably go anyway and just be angry at her for causing drama. "Okay," Megan said reluctantly, "but don't be too long." "I won't. I promise," Lauren replied. Lauren disappeared through a door marked "Authorized Personnel Only" with Jackson Reed. Megan sat in the emptying backstage area, checking her phone, making small talk with security guards, waiting. 30 minutes passed, then an hour. Megan texted Lauren, "Everything okay? Ready to go?" No response. Another 30 minutes. Still nothing. Finally, around 1:30 in the morning, Megan's concern overrode her politeness. She found a security guard and explained that her friend had gone into the green room and hadn't come back. The guard, probably tired and wanting to go home, agreed to walk her back and check on Lauren. The green room area was a maze of hallways and doors, most of them closed. But as they walked past the dressing rooms, Megan heard familiar laughter. Lauren's laughter. She followed the sound to a door that was slightly ajar. The security guard had continued down the hall, apparently confident that Lauren was fine. Megan approached the door and peered through the gap. What she saw destroyed her faith in her best friend forever. Lauren was pressed against the wall, Jackson Reed's hands tangled in her hair, their mouths locked together in a kiss that was hungry, desperate, completely without reservation. Lauren's hands were pulling at his shirt, trying to get it off. Jackson was pushing against her, his hands roaming places that belonged to me. Megan's first instinct was to look away, to give her friend privacy, to pretend she hadn't seen anything. But something harder, something more loyal to me than to Lauren, made her pull out her phone instead. She recorded. 10 seconds. 20. She moved slightly to get different angles, her hands shaking as she documented my wife's betrayal. She took photos when they shifted positions, when Lauren pulled Jackson's shirt completely off, when he pushed her harder against the wall. She got it all. Then she backed away quietly, her heart pounding, her stomach sick. She texted Lauren, "Not feeling well, heading out, talk to you tomorrow." She didn't wait for a reply. She walked out of the Paramount Theater, drove home, and sat in her car in her driveway for an hour, staring at the videos on her phone. Megan told me later that she didn't sleep that night. She kept thinking about me, working late at the office, completely unaware that my marriage was being destroyed a few miles away. She thought about our 7-year relationship, our wedding, all the Eclipse Theory concerts we'd attended together as a couple. She thought about Lauren, her childhood friend, the person she'd trusted with her deepest secrets, throwing away everything good in her life for one night with a musician who probably wouldn't remember her name by morning. And she made the hardest decision of her life. She chose truth over friendship. She chose me over Lauren. That decision saved me. Saturday morning, 7:30 a.m. I was back at the office, third cup of coffee already burning through my system, drowning in audit reports that needed to be filed by Monday. The quarterly audit doesn't stop for weekends, doesn't care about your personal life, doesn't give you room to breathe until every number is verified and every document is signed. My phone buzzed. Text from Megan. "Can you call me when you get a chance? Need to talk to you about something?" I figured she wanted to tell me about the concert. Maybe share some funny story about Lauren fangirling over meeting the band. I stepped into an empty conference room and dialed her number. "Nathan?" Her voice was tight, strained, like she'd been crying. "Hey, Megan, how was the show? Did Lauren have fun?" I asked. "Nathan, I need to tell you something. And it's going to be really hard to hear," she said carefully. The way she said it made my stomach drop. "What's wrong? Is Lauren okay?" I asked. "Lauren cheated on you. Last night. With the guitarist. With Jackson Reed. I saw them. I recorded it," she said, her voice breaking. The words hit me like physical blows. For a moment, I couldn't process what she was saying. Lauren cheated. My Lauren. My wife of 7 years, who cried at our wedding, who called me her soulmate, who'd never given me a single reason to doubt her. "Are you sure?" I heard myself asking. "Maybe it just looked—" "Nathan, I'm sending you the videos right now. I'm so sorry, she interrupted. My phone buzzed. 3 video files, 4 photos. I opened the first video with shaking hands. There was my wife, my Lauren. Kissing another man like her, life depended on it. Hands in his hair, pulling his shirt off, pressing against him like I didn't exist. Like our marriage didn't exist. Like 7 years of love and trust meant nothing. I watched all 3 videos, looked at every photo, different angles of the same betrayal. Clear, undeniable, devastating proof that the woman I loved, the woman I'd worked late to provide for, had chosen to destroy us for a stranger. I didn't scream. I didn't break down. I didn't throw my phone or punch the wall or collapse in grief. Instead, something ice-cold settled in my chest. Crystal clear thinking. Perfect, surgical calm. I called my attorney. Robert Hayes had handled my business contracts for years. He was expensive, ruthless, and brilliant. He answered on the second ring. "Nathan, it's Saturday morning. What's going on?" he asked. "I need to file for divorce. Today. This morning," I said. "Whoa, slow down. What happened?" he replied. "My wife cheated on me. I have video evidence, multiple videos. I need her served with papers as soon as possible," I explained. "Send me everything you have. I'll review it and call you back in an hour," he said. "How fast can you move on this, Robert?" I pressed. "If the evidence is solid and you want her served today, I can make it happen. But Nathan, you need to think about this. Maybe you should take some time," he started. "No, I'm done thinking." "How fast?" I interrupted. "Give me 3 hours. I'll have the papers drafted and a process server ready to go," he replied. "Do it," I confirmed. I sent him the videos and photos. Then I left work. "Family emergency," I told my supervisor, and drove home. I moved through our house like a machine. No emotion, just execution. I went to our bedroom and pulled every piece of Lauren's clothing from the closet. Her dresses, her yoga pants, her fancy shoes, her Eclipse Theory t-shirts. Everything that belonged to her, everything that carried her scent, everything that reminded me of the woman who'd just obliterated our marriage. I emptied her dresser drawers, her toiletries from the bathroom, her jewelry from the nightstand, her books from the living room shelves, those stupid Eclipse Theory posters she'd hung in our spare room, the ones that now made me sick to look at. 12 black trash bags, 7 years of shared life reduced to garbage on our front lawn. Then I made the calls that would ensure Lauren had nowhere to run, no one to lie to, no way to control the narrative. First, her parents, Richard and Donna Holland, who'd welcomed me into their family, who'd called me the son they never had, who'd trusted me to take care of their daughter. "Richard, it's Nathan," I said when he answered. "Nathan, how are you? How's our girl?" he replied warmly. "I'm calling to let you know that I'm divorcing Lauren. Today. She cheated on me last night," I said directly. Silence. Then, "What?" "Nathan, that's not possible. Lauren would never," he started. "I'm sending you the videos right now. I wanted you to hear it from me before she shows up at your house with lies," I interrupted. I sent them the same evidence I'd sent to Robert. Richard called me back 10 minutes later. "Oh my God," he whispered. "Oh my God, Nathan, I'm so sorry. I wanted to warn you. She's going to come to you for help. She's going to try to make this my fault somehow. Don't let her," I said. "We won't." "Jesus Christ, what was she thinking?" he asked. "I don't think she was thinking at all," I replied. I called Lauren's sister Jessica in San Francisco, her brother Mike in Denver. I sent them all the evidence, gave them all the same warning. By the time Lauren realized her entire support system knew the truth, it would be too late for damage control. Finally, I sat on our front porch and waited. Robert called at 2:15. "Papers are ready. Process server is en route to your house. Where's Lauren?" he asked. "No idea. Probably still sleeping off her big night," I answered. "Nathan, I have to ask, are you sure about this? Once she's served, there's no going back." Maybe you should consider counseling or—" he began. "Robert, I watched my wife of 7 years hook up with a stranger while I was working to pay our bills. There's nothing to counsel. There's nothing to save. Just destroy her in court," I said coldly. "Understood. The server will be there in 30 minutes, he confirmed. I hung up and looked at our house. The house I'd bought for us. The house where we'd planned to raise children. The house that was supposed to be our forever home. In 6 hours, I'd gone from loving my wife completely to erasing her from my life entirely. I wasn't sad, I wasn't broken, I was just done. Lauren's car pulled into the driveway at 2:45. She looked tired, satisfied, guilty, a woman returning from an adventure. She had no idea that her entire life had already been dismantled in the time it took her to betray me. She was about to find out. I watched from the living room window as Lauren parked in our driveway. She looked exactly like what she was, a woman coming home after cheating on her husband. Her hair was messier than usual, her makeup smudged, her clothes wrinkled. She moved slowly, like someone processing a night of bad decisions. But there was something else in her posture, too, a satisfaction, a secret smile playing at the corners of her mouth. She wasn't coming home ashamed or guilty. She was coming home thinking she'd gotten away with something. She walked to the front door and tried the handle. Locked. She knocked, then called out, "Nathan? Babe? Why is the door locked?" I didn't answer. I just watched. Footsteps behind her on the walkway, the process server, a middle-aged woman in a business suit carrying a manila envelope. "Lauren Pierce?" the woman asked. Lauren turned, confused. "Yes," she replied. "You've been served," the process server said, handing her the envelope and walking back to her car without another word. I watched my wife's face as she opened the envelope and read the first page. Petition for dissolution of marriage. Grounds. Adultery. The color drained from her face like someone had opened a valve. Her hands started shaking. She read it again, then looked up at the house like she couldn't believe this was real. I opened the living room window. "Your stuff's in the trash bags," I said calmly. "On the lawn. Take them and leave." "Nathan, wait! What is this? What's happening?" she called out desperately. "I saw the videos, Lauren. All of them. Megan sent them to me this morning," I replied. She collapsed, literally fell to her knees on our front porch, the divorce papers scattered around her. "Nathan, please, let me explain," she begged. "Explain what? How you fucked Jackson Reed while I was working late to pay our bills?" I asked coldly. It wasn't like that," she stammered. "Really? Because it looked exactly like that," I shot back. I could see her mind racing, trying to find an angle, a way to make this my fault, or minimize what she'd done. "Nathan, it was a mistake. I was drunk, and he was—" she started. "He was your favorite guitarist from your favorite band, and you couldn't control yourself," I finished. "Please, can we just talk about this? Can you come outside and we can—" she pleaded. "No, we're done talking. We're done with everything. Take your stuff and leave," I said firmly. I closed the window. She pounded on the door for an hour, sobbing, begging, promising to change, swearing it would never happen again. She tried every window, every door, calling my name until her voice went hoarse. I never answered. I just sat in my living room listening to my wife's world fall apart, feeling nothing but cold satisfaction. Finally, around 4 o'clock, she gave up on getting inside. I watched her load the 12 trash bags into her car, struggling with the weight, tears streaming down her face. Some of the bags split, and her clothes spilled onto the driveway. She stuffed everything back in, desperate and humiliated. She drove away without looking back. I never saw her pull into our driveway again. But I knew where she was going, and I knew what was waiting for her there. Lauren went straight to her parents' house, probably expecting sympathy and shelter. She rang the doorbell, and Richard answered with a stone face. "Dad, please, I need to—" she began. "You're not welcome here," he said coldly. "What? Dad, "What are you talking about?" she asked, confused. "Nathan called us this morning. He sent us the videos. We know what you did," he explained. Lauren's face went white. "The videos? What videos?" she asked weakly. Richard stepped onto the porch and closed the door behind him. "The videos of you cheating on your husband, the man who's loved you for 7 years, the man who worked his ass off to take care of you while you were messing around with some musician," he said angrily. "Dad, you don't understand," she tried. "I understand perfectly. You threw away the best thing in your life for one night with a stranger. You humiliated yourself, you humiliated your husband, and you humiliated your family," he replied harshly. "Please, I just need a place to stay while Nathan and I work this out," she pleaded. "There's nothing to work out. Nathan's divorcing you, and frankly, I don't blame him. You made your choice last night. Now live with it," he said, stepping back toward the door. Richard went back inside and shut the door. Lauren stood on her parents' porch, completely alone, with nowhere to go. She tried calling her sister Jessica, her brother Mike, old friends from college. One by one, they either didn't answer or told her they couldn't help. Word travels fast in small circles, and I'd made sure everyone who mattered knew the truth before Lauren could spin her own version. By evening, she was checked into a cheap motel off the interstate, paying with a credit card that I would cancel the next business day. I found out later that she tried calling me that night. 47 missed calls. I'd already blocked her number. Sunday morning, she showed up at the office building where I work, waiting in the parking lot for me to arrive. Security escorted her off the property after I explained that my soon-to-be ex-wife was harassing me. She tried one more time at the house on Tuesday, but the locks had already been changed. She sat in her car across the street for hours, just staring at what used to be her home. A patrol car showed up around dinner time. Apparently, one of the neighbors had called about a suspicious vehicle. When the officer ran her plates and realized she was my estranged wife, he gave her a choice: leave voluntarily or be arrested for trespassing. She left. That was the last time I saw her face to face. I wasn't triumphant. I wasn't broken. I was just resolved, clean, free. The divorce took 3 months to finalize. She tried to fight it, tried to claim the adultery evidence was somehow inadmissible, tried to get half of everything despite being the one who destroyed our marriage. She failed. 3 months later, on a rainy Tuesday morning in October, I signed the final divorce decree. 7 years of marriage officially dissolved. Lauren Pierce became Lauren Holland again, though I doubted the name change would erase what she'd done or who she'd become. I kept everything: the house, my retirement accounts, my savings, even my Eclipse Theory vinyl collection. Oregon is a no-fault state, but when you have video evidence of adultery and a spouse with no income or assets to speak of, the division of property becomes pretty straightforward. Lauren's attorney, a public defender she couldn't really afford, advised her to take whatever settlement I offered rather than fight a battle she couldn't win. She took it. I'm dating again now. Slowly. Carefully. There's a woman named Sarah who works at the bookstore downtown. We've had coffee a few times, dinner twice. She's kind, honest, divorced herself. She understands that trust is something you build carefully, brick by brick. Megan remains one of my closest friends. We meet for coffee sometimes. She still apologizes for that night. "You saved me," I tell her every time. "Without you, I might have lived in ignorance for years. You gave me back my life." Lauren lives in a 1-bedroom apartment across town now. Works retail, her first job in years. Her parents haven't spoken to her since the divorce was finalized. Most of our mutual friends chose sides, and most chose mine. She sends Megan hateful texts sometimes. "You ruined my life." Megan blocks her. I heard through the grapevine that Lauren tried to reconnect with Jackson Reed. He ghosted her. She was just another groupie. He never cared. I'm 38, divorced, and I'm okay. Better than okay. My advice to anyone reading: surround yourself with people who tell you the truth, even when it hurts. And if someone betrays you, walk away clean. No second chances, no what-ifs. Life's too short for people who don't deserve your loyalty. I don't hate Lauren anymore. I don't think about her at all. And that's the best revenge. I went to another Eclipse Theory concert last month with Sarah. We had great seats, and when Jackson Reed played his guitar solo during Burning Bridges, I felt nothing but appreciation for the music. Sarah held my hand during Forever Young Tonight, and for the first time in years, the music meant something pure again. When the show ended, Sarah asked me what I thought. I think, I said, that was exactly the concert I was meant to see. Sometimes the best revenge isn't what you take from someone who betrayed you. Sometimes the best revenge is simply being happy without them. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Your support helps the algorithm push my content further. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me keep creating more stories for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.